So we're all familiar with the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Treat people the way you'd like them to treat you. Do everything you can to help people, just like you'd want them to do for you if there was some sort of help you needed. But you know, the thing about that is that even if we follow that, there's no guarantee the people we come in contact with will do the same, is there? In other words, the fact that we try to help others does not necessarily mean that others are going to try to help us. In fact, sometimes we may try to help others. They may refuse our help. They may even come to resent us for trying to help them. And that brings us to our paradoxical commandment for today. As many of you know, this is a sermon series we've been doing. So this is the 9th one. It's based on a series of 10 statements written by Dr. Kent M. Keith, endorsed by Mother Teresa. The 9th one says, people really need help, but may attack you if you do help them. So help people anyway. Now, if you've ever had that happen to you, understand that God knows exactly how you feel. Because there are all kinds of times in the Bible where God helps people only to have those people turn on God, actively fight against God, get upset with God. And an example of that is our Bible reading for today. Now again, remember what the context of this is. The people of Israel had been in slavery in Egypt. For a while it had not gone just too badly, but then conditions got worse and worse and worse. And they were in a desperate situation. If there was ever a people who needed help, it was the people of Israel at that time. And God helped them. In fact, God helped them in about the most awesome way possible. God forced the Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, to set the people of Israel free. And then when the Pharaoh tried to get them back into slavery again, God led the people of Israel across the Red Sea, destroyed the Egyptian army, so that the people of Israel would be free. And that was not all. God not only had rescued the people of Israel, God had promised them that they would be given a wonderful land to live in. It was a land that was going to be flowing with milk and honey. God was going to lead them across the desert to this incredible, beautiful, awesome land. It's the most wonderful thing anybody could have imagined. But it was not an easy trip. And as you heard, they went 3 days without finding water. So what did the people of Israel do? Did they say, you know, we can trust God to provide water for us. God's brought us this far. God certainly won't abandon us now. No, that's not what they said. Not even close. Instead, what did they do? They whined, and they griped, and they complained, and they criticized, and they grumbled. You know, you'd have thought they'd be grateful. You'd have thought they'd trust God. After all, God had been there for them all this time. God had done so much for them already. But no. Instead, all they could do was find fault with God and blame God because they did not have water when they wanted it. You ever had that happen? You ever tried your best to do something for somebody, tried to help somebody, instead of thanking you for it, all they ever did was criticize what you'd done? It's not a good feeling, is it? In fact, it kind of stinks. We wonder, well, what's the point? Why try to help somebody? Nobody ever appreciates it anyway. Might as well just not even try. But of course, that's not how God responded. God was not happy with the people, of course, but God did not give up on them. God did not abandon the people. God did not turn away from them. God continued to help them. God gave them water. Even though the people that God was trying to help had turned on God, even though they complained about God and blamed God for all their problems, God kept helping them. And for a little while, the people of Israel were happy again, but only for a little while, because pretty soon they got hungry. They wanted food. They did not have any. So what did they do this time? This time did they say, well, you know, we can trust God. God provided water for us when we need it, so God will surely provide us with food too. Again, not even close. Once again, they whined and they griped and they complained and they criticized and they grumbled. Once again, instead of being grateful for all that God had done and trusting God to do it again, they blamed God for all their troubles. And once again, God responded. God again did not give up on the people of Israel. God still did not abandon them, did not turn away from them. God continued to help them. God gave them food, bread from heaven. Once again, even though the people God was trying to help turned on God, even though they complained about God, blamed God for all their problems, God kept helping them. And that's what you and I are supposed to do too. We're not supposed to stop helping people even when they don't appreciate our help. We're not supposed to give up on people or abandon them or turn away from them, even if they turn on us, even if they seem to resent our attempts to help. And that brings us back to the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Think about times when you were in trouble. Think about times when you needed help. Have you ever had a time when you needed help and somebody helped you, and you kind of resented or even complained about their help? I suspect maybe some of you have. I suspect, in fact, that most of us have. So why do we do that? Well, it could be a lot of reasons, but I think one of the big ones is pride. That pride shows up in a lot of ways. Our pride keeps us from admitting that we're in trouble in the first place. Our pride keeps us from admitting that we need help to get out of trouble. Our pride keeps us from accepting help when we need it. Sometimes our pride even leads us to resent the person who gives us the help and to get mad at them for having helped us. I can think of times in the past when I've done that. Maybe you can too. I probably still do it sometimes. When I look back at those times that are in the past, those times when my pride kept me from appreciating someone's help, I can look back at it and see now that I really did need that help. And I can see how fortunate I was and still am that people cared enough about me and loved me enough to help me even when I did not want to admit that I needed their help and did not want to accept their help. Even when I might have gotten mad at them for trying to help. And so that's what you and I need to do for somebody else. It's what we all need to do. We need to be there for each other, and we need to help each other. And we need to do that even if the pride of the person we're trying to help keeps them from admitting that we need our help. And keeps them from acting grateful that we have tried to help them. It's not easy. It goes against our instincts. You know, if you think about it, that whole golden rule thing really kind of goes against our instincts. Oh, we like it all right in theory. We like hearing it and we say, yeah, I like that. I agree with that. But there are a lot of times we don't live our lives that way. We don't want to treat people the way we want them to treat us. We want to treat people the way they actually do treat us. In other words, if you've been kind to me, then sure, I'll be kind to you. But if you've been a jerk to me, well, I kind of feel like, well, that gives me the right to be a jerk to you too. That's the human rule. That really is the way most of us live our lives. And I'm not immune to that. I'm not saying I am. It's a rule that says if you're not going to be nice to me when I try to help you, then I won't try to help you anymore. You can just dig yourself out of that hole you're in. Good luck with it. That's the human rule. But it's not the golden rule. And it's not God's rule. Must have been tempting for God, you know. When the people of Israel reacted the way they did, when they turned on God despite everything God had already done for them, I wonder if there might have been a part of God that really wanted to punish them for that. That wanted to just leave them there in the desert to find their own food and their own water, or die trying. And literally, that's what it would have been. They would have died trying if God had done that. But God did not do that, because God never would do that. God would never have done that to the people of Israel, and God will not do that to you or to me. God will never abandon us. God will never turn away from us. God will always be there for us. No matter how we treat God, God will still be there for us. God will always help us, even if we don't recognize that it's God, even if we don't want to accept that help. God will still be there for us. And God will still be willing to help us if we'll only accept it. God will always be there for us. And so you and I need to be there for each other. We need to be there for each other even if the people we're trying to help don't appreciate our being there. Even if they get upset with us for being there. We still need to be there for each other. As our paradoxical commandment says, people really need our help. But they may resent and they may attack us if we do help them. But help people anyway. Why? Because that's what God does for you and me. And that's what God wants us to do for each other. Amen.